Hey, everybody. Welcome to Making Connections. This is your girl, Aly. I hope everybody's having a good day, had a great weekend. And here we are, we're kicking off your Monday with some motivation and inspiration because you guys know it is the fourth Monday of the month. Can you believe it? But it is the fourth Monday of the month, and we know what happens that day. Woo, woo, woo. James J.T. Sherman Thompson. James J.T. Sherman Thompson. Why you got all them names for me to pronounce, JT?
Man,
Is in the house. How you doing?
I'm great. It's beautiful, beautiful Monday. It's a beautiful fourth Monday, and we know on each fourth Monday we bring a different energy, one of inspiration and impact. And it's just an honor to be back, on the platform, making connections with Ali, and just not taking it for granted because it could be, and our audience could be anywhere else, but they choose to be right here rocking out with us. So we
Right.
definitely appreciate that.
That part. And, I'm glad you said that because that is so true. We really don't take lightly the fact that people join us, that people share our broadcast, that they come on and they comment. We appreciate that, because it just lets us know that what we're doing, is truly the path we should be on. And
Yeah.
that we're making an impact and we're encouraging somebody along the way. Because there's been so many times where I wish, well, it has happened that I turned on the TV. You think your inspiration might come from your best friend or from your pastor or your spouse, but sometimes you have to jump on a YouTube or on a live stream on Facebook to get what you need. And so
Mhm.
I'm thankful that God is using us to be that in somebody's life.
God talks to us in many different ways, and a lot of times, if we're not paying attention, we'll miss it. That's why it's important to be locked in, be focused, and even when we're not all the way focused or distracted, God has a way of getting our attention, and that's what's most important in this life is to be able to catch those nuggets, those little things that come through our paths in order to grab our attention, so we can grab what we're supposed to grab out of those moments and those things is what make life worth living. He didn't say that life came with an instruction manual or a handbook. He said, if you pay attention, if you be obedient, if you do the things that you're supposed to do in this life, you'll be taken care of. You'll be covered up under the blood. You'll blaze a path of a testimony that you will be able to speak back and pour back into the atmosphere and have impact and inspiration.
Exactly. And the thing about it, like you said, is sometimes we don't want to share those moments. We think, oh, that's embarrassing. I don't want to tell this or but really that's where we get our strength from. Hearing people's stories, hearing people, say, I made this decision, but guess what? Still God worked it out for my good. I learned this along the way. I had to do this. And I often talk about like sports. Okay, the football player, they to be a winning team, they got to take some bumps and some bruises and some
Mhm,
tackles, and they get sideswiped, thrown to the left, to the right, up in the air. But
mhm,
to be on the team, that's what happens. But if
mhm,
the team is working together, if the team is moving in the same direction, you might get less bumps because people are tackling for you, but still somebody is getting kind of beat up a little bit along the way. But it's what you do to get to the win, right?
yeah, it's the work that you put in, and I always say a loss is not truly a loss unless you don't get the lesson out of it. Meaning
Hmm.
that there's game planning, there's strategy, there's the huddle, and then there's execution. At the end of the day, you're not going to be successful on each play, but you gotta get a few yards here and there and progress each and every down in order to get to your ultimate goal, which is a touchdown. And we understand that there are times that you may come up short, but the thing is, when you get another opportunity in order to execute and be back in the game and on the play again, you gotta put forth your maximum effort. Meaning, even if you come up short, it's okay because it's about living to play, play another now. And a lot of times there are things that happen in this life that can be discouraging. It can hinder you, if you let it. Those things are planted to see just how strong your mustard seed faith is. We get it for what it is. I mean, we are all human at the end of the day. The big thing is It's not how many times we knock down, how many times we tackle. It's how many times we get up and say, "All right, cool. I'm gonna brush it off and get ready for the next play." Those are the biggest challenges, and it's like getting ready for the next play, saying, "Okay, I'm still in the game. My head's still in the game. I'm not, I may be a little wary, but I'm gonna press through, pressing through, and knowing that okay, I'm gonna make it through no matter what." Those are the things. That's the mentality, and those are the mindset that you have to do in order to overcome, overachieve, be the person that is pivotal to the next winning play. You always tell yourself, you know what, I'm not just part of the table. I am the table. The table is mine. I don't just want a piece of the pie. I want the whole pie. Mentality has got to be bigger than, sometimes what, people may think we can achieve because the belief in all the things that happen come from within yourself first. It starts within you. So if you love yourself, you believe in yourself, and you have a faith that's built of a mustard seed, there's nothing in this life, especially with God leading the way, that you cannot achieve.
Exactly. And even as you were talking, I was thinking about, when you're usually on the team, you have to study your opponent. You know, maybe this might be the first time you're meeting this opponent, and but you still, after about 4 or 5 plays, okay, they coming to this side or they coming to this side. Now there might be some versatile players on there that you don't know what they're gonna do, but a lot of times people tend to do the same thing. And so I feel like it's the same way in life. We have to know who our opponent is, and it's not one another, it's the enemy. So how does the enemy come against us? He tries to put doubt in our mind. He tries to put fear in our heart. He tries to, be an accuser of the brethren and cause conflict. So you already know that's his strategy. So when you see it, you be like, that's the enemy. That's not what's really happening. That's a falsehood. That's the enemy trying to bring a distraction. So guess what? I'm just gonna elbow him out the way, tell him to get behind me, keep pushing. So that's just what came to my spirit when you were talking about that.
The devil's always looking for a weakness. He's always trying to pry into what he thinks can knock on the doorstep of distraction, can knock you down, can make you think twice about having the type of faith that you have. And he's always going to knock on the door of something that he thinks is near and dear to the heart. And it may very well be, but the thing is, you gotta show a different type of strength, one to overcome. And we get it. We deal with stuff every day. There's bills, there's finances, there's bereavement, there's family issues, the things that we have that come each and every day that does knock on those doorsteps and does challenge us mentally and spiritually. The key to that thing is stay prayed up. That the things that were built to form against you, you got to remember no weapon formed against you can prosper, especially when your mentality and your spirituality is where it's supposed to be. And even if it's not, the opportunity is always there for you to build that. There's a starting place. There's an olive branch that is always reached out to each of us, and that's our God in heaven. He is always there. He does not stand in judgment. He stands with the outreach arms and saying, "My child, I am here. All I want you to do is come and let me be the lead and the head of your life. You give it all to me. There is no problems walking this land and this earth that I want you to bear. I want you to give it all to me and leave it there. Leave it there and free yourself." We're talking about freedom today. We're talking about the myths and the realities. There are many, many parts to the word freedom. It's not just a physical thing. It's the spiritual bondage. Are you bonded down? Are you pinned down? Are you weighed down? There are ways to overcome and free yourself from that bondage, from that weight of that shoulder that you may feel. There's a spiritual guidance. There is someone there that is above and beyond any man walking this earth that is waiting each and every moment and second of this day for you to just say, "God, I give it to you." He's not going away. He doesn't fade away. He doesn't forsake us. Although I promise you, he will never forsake you. Unlike man, there is not a promise that God, will be bestowed upon your life that he cannot fulfill. But it's all about God's timing. It's all about when that season is meant to be. We have to make a patience within ourselves and understand the virtue of how strong that is. And God said, if you have that faith, that built faith within you, there is nothing that cannot be done. It's just the moments of going through the challenges of life, going through the steps in life, and understanding that, okay, there are going to be some things that are not going to come exactly when I wanted to come. There are going to be times that things are not going to pan out exactly as I want them to be. But we must remember God's timing is like no other. It is not the clock of man. It is the clock of our Holy Spirit, the Alpha and the Omega of our life. And we have to remember that no matter how dim and how cloudy it looks, the little stream of sunshine that is in those clouds is our God reminding us that no matter how dim that light looks, you still can overcome any situation with a snap of a finger. You believe and have the faith
Mhm.
that you're supposed to have.
Ooh, JT, you be saying so much. I be like, I need to record it and repeat it back. But I mean, but that's true. Nothing that we go through, even like you were talking about, the weapons will be formed, but they won't prosper. He didn't say they wouldn't be formed, but like you said, he will never leave us nor forsake us. And we're talking about freedom. Is it a myth or is it a reality? And freedom, like you said, is not just physical freedom, but mental freedom, spiritual freedom, and all those things work together. Because sometimes people can get free physically, but they're still locked up in their mindset or in their heart or in their spiritual walk. So, sometimes people be like, well, I'm not in that position anymore. I'm not doing that anymore. But things still aren't going right. So you have to figure out, okay, so where am I not free? You know, where am I still dealing with this? So, freedom of mind, freedom of spirit, is it a myth or is it a reality?
The thing about the reality of when we talk about freedom, I just had seen a clip for the forthcoming movie about Emmett Till, and wouldn't it be today is Emmett Till's birthday? When you think about the story of Emmett Till and how they came about, and all of the domino effect of his, his disappearance and his the revelation of him being, murdered, lynched, and what happened in those times. You think about the strength and the character of his mother, his family, and the people that were affected during that time. You think about the things that we endure, that nowhere near the things that we endured during those times. So we have to draw strength for all of these things that are placed in our view, in our mind, and things that we can read, because these are things that we're supposed to build off of. The reality of those things is terrible things did happen. There are terrible things that are still going on here and now. The myths are, oh, we can't overcome it. Or it feels like no matter how many steps forward we take, we're always, beaten down and taking two steps back. The thing is, you can't get discouraged, because at the end of the day, the myths will outweigh the realities at times, because it is meant to cause doubt in your mind and your spirit. We have to remember the realities of those things that we've got to play the roles out in our lives. The things that have already been determined. We're going through those things. And what you have to do is you have to build strength. You got to know that no matter how bad things are, what happens, there's still a God that is still over all of the land. And all the things happen for a reason. And God don't make no mistakes. No matter how hard it hurts, no matter, some things hurt deeper than others. But we have to keep the mindset that we have to trust God, and we have to live, in a way that you just know that no matter what happens, everything is going to work out in our favor. And there are going to be things in our lives that are going to happen that are going to serve as lessons and examples of things that we have to pull from in order to be better individuals in our lives. And to understand that we all going to have to walk that journey one day, that same journey that people that have passed on before us, we're gonna have to walk those same journey, like them. But we have to remember, in between the hash marks, meaning the day that you were birthed into this world, you were birthed with a purpose. And until that finality of that date, the way you perish and pass on through, you want to be as an effective and living your life as much as on purpose as possible. Because it's what you do in between that determines ultimately the story of your life, the impact of your life. I tell anybody, the impact of your life is not based on your years. It's based on what you've done in those years.
Right.
I've known some as little as two in a year and a half that had as much impact as somebody that lived 90 years old. It is about how you carry yourself, the content of your character, and how you treat other people that ultimately defines who you were and who you are in this walking journey in life.
Yes, yes, yes. I know there was a popular statement these days, how you live your dash, which is what you're talking about, that time in between your birth and you take your last breath. But how do you want to live your dash? And then the word was coming to me about, we're living epistles read of all men. So, all of us have a story and all of us are going to leave a story. So, what do you want your story to be? Do you want it to be one of, the lack of hope, doubt, anger, resentment? Or do you want it to be, I mean, even if they say, she was doing her best, she had a goal, she might not have actually made it all the way, but every year she took another step forward. Every year he moved from this place to where he wanted to be. Every year, the credit score went up. Every year, they live better because I mean, you just gotta figure out what your dash is gonna be like. And I mean, I know there are plenty of things that we could be sad about, we could be angry about. It's happened to all of us. But I choose. I mean, I've already done that part. Maybe I'm telling you because I already did that. I chose to live in anger. I chose to be upset and disappointed and blame everybody. Da, da, da. And but it didn't really get me anything, and it didn't get me any closer to my dreams. It didn't get me any closer to clarity of mind, being free in my mind or in my spirit. So I'm like, okay, let me try something different. It happened. They might have been to blame, but guess what? Now this is my future. This is my right now. What am I going to do with it? I had an old bishop, Bishop Don Bledsoe, and he would say, and I don't know if it's his quote or he got it from somewhere, but when he would be praying, sometimes he would say, Lord, we thank you for this day. This day is a gift from you. But what I do with this day is my gift back to you.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are you going to do with the gift that you have every day of life, of breath? And, I think about one of the elders of the church. She was sick. She couldn't, her mobility was kind of off, and so she couldn't go out and preach, but she could still jump on Facebook and give us a word. So,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you'd be like, I can't do this, I can't do this, but there's probably another route to get to where you want to be. There's another route to get your story out. There's another route to get your, I mean, look at what we're doing right now on this live broadcast. Get on here, tell people who you are, tell people you're baking cakes from your house. I mean, whatever it is your gift is, it can still be used. Don't let what looks like the outside, um, what do I need? What am I calling it, JT? The outside restrictions restrict who you are on the inside.
You always be about a thing and don't don't look like what you've been through. Meaning, if you go about it the right way, you'll never look like your path, which your sacrifices, your labor. You won't look like. You'll be the beam of spirit, the beam of light. Meaning that I think about the lighted Ferris wheel at the fair. If you go about things the right way, you're gonna always be the light, no matter what room you're in. Meaning that the words that you speak, they come from a different place. They come from a different spirit. You'll be able to spread love in the atmosphere and do things that others may not be able to do, but you'll be able to overcome. When we talk about anger, we talk about hurt, we talk about those things. I always saying anger is the cousin of death, meaning that it has no place in the living life. Meaning, as we are angry and we're sad and we're going through things, there are outlets to overcome those things. And there's a reason why you have, ways to get through those emotions, because those emotions are secondary, temporary. They're not permanent emotions. The
Right.
permanent emotions are those that you are living light, in your heart, and spread that spirit, amongst anybody that you come in contact with, because we know you never know what someone is going through when you interact, when you encounter someone. You don't know how their morning was, how their afternoon went, how their night was. Was it a peaceful night? Was it a restful night? We don't know those things, and you don't know that word, that smile, that the simplicity of how are you. You know, those things carry weight, go a long way. How we treat each other is very, very important in this life. You know, you don't want to be a shining star amongst, the heavens and the world, and in your own house, you the darkest light not even seen. You want to be consistent, and you want to be one that no matter what room you in, no matter what atmosphere, you are someone. You have to remember that each person, each individual has within them the makeup to be genius in common. When I say genius in common, the genius is within all of us. It is on us to discover what that genius is and then magnify it and make it multiply upon anybody that you come in contact with. So we think that genius is rare when genius is within all of us. When you discover it and you're able to speak on it, and when you begin to answer the question of your why and who you are and whom you are, then you discover your geniuses, and then you discover special things about yourself that will be amazing. And then you can go out and spread that light amongst all the people of the land. Because when your genius and when you discover what your genius is, it just gives you another special light about yourself, to love on yourself as well as spread love all across the land. And what did Jesus do in his walk? He didn't cast he didn't cast hate and anger upon the land. He cast love and faith and healed people. And we were walking that same light. When you ask us what would Jesus do, all you have to do is answer the question. Well, he'd do right among his fellow men, and he would love thy neighbor. He wouldn't steal and do things towards people to hurt and harm. He would be the example of what an angel on earth, guardian angel, is supposed to be. All those things, walking in favor, unapologetically, and knowing that you are somebody built on the grace and the mercy of the Lord.
Hmm. And just talking about that, and he gave us forgiveness, I mean, he saw what was going wrong, but he didn't just come accusing, well, you da 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 da, doing all this, he usually gave them a parable or something to make them think and make them come to the conclusion that, oh, you know what, there is better out there.
Mhm.
And so, we have to give that same love to, one another and to ourselves. Let's start there. And I think that's why we can't give it to somebody else, because we don't have it. You can only pour out of you what's in you. And so if the love for your own self is not in there, then how do you love somebody else? How do you forgive somebody else? If you don't never, if you've never, or you don't know how to forgive yourself. So, all this stuff, it really does start with us, our mindset, our emotions, we just have to get them in check, and we have to be, okay, what am I doing here? You know, why am I sitting here in lack when I have the ability to create? God said He's given us the ability to create wealth. And for a long, long time that was kind of mysterious to me. Like, what is he talking about? But he's
Yeah.
talking about the skills and the talents he's giving you. If you have a talent for writing, if you have whether it's a book, writing songs, for doing art, for cooking, for speaking, for teaching, for being a nurse or a doctor, whatever those skills are, you can use those skills, and it gives you the ability to create wealth. And so, one of the things, I put on the flyer, it says, we repeat what we don't repair.
Mm.
So even in this physical world where we keep coming to these situations and these laws, why is this happening? Why do we keep going through this? Because we ain't never repaired it yet. We talk about it, we come to the table, but it has not yet been repaired. And we will continue to repeat what we don't repair. You'll continue to go through those cycles of, self sabotage until you repair what's causing you to do it. Whether it's your fear, your doubt, whether somebody else told you you couldn't, whether somebody told you you'd never amount to anything, or maybe you tried before and you failed. But whatever that is, you'll continue to repeat it until you repair it.
Even when given the tools to repair, sometimes we fall short. You know the old saying, sometimes we can block our own blessings by being in our own way. Gotta be able to realize, can't just, trip your own self up. You gotta be self-efficient and self-conscious about what's going on in your life and what do you need to do in order to live your version of your best life. Meaning that, it's okay not to be okay, but you have to recognize that you're not okay. And you
Right.
have to physically refresh and renew and ask for what is needed in order to do those things. A lot of times, if you don't do those things, you just sweeping it under the carpet. When you lift that carpet up, it's gonna be the same dirt that you left and swept up under the carpet. So sweep it on out the door, repair, refresh, renew. Let it be a brand new air, what I'm saying, within you and around you. You know, don't just look over it. Meet it head on. Those things have a way of, when you accomplish that right there, there's a feeling of, man, you know what, I made it through that. I got through, and and I might, I don't look like I went through anything, and I feel a whole lot better. I feel renewed. I feel a brand new energy. My step is different. My sweat is different. The sacrifice is different. The labor
Mhm.
is different. Those things are feelings of accomplishment, achievement, when you meet it head on. Meaning, no matter the challenge, no matter what it is, don't let it just be a myth in your life. Let it be a reality. Free yourself because God giving you the tools in order to do so. Don't act like you're not there. Don't not reach for it. Don't be too proud to say, okay, I can't work on this or I can't work on that, or I'm gonna leave this for later. Or I'm gonna no, address it at the moment in time, and be impactful and be intentful about it. Because I promise you, the feeling that you will have after you meet something head on, when you meet the challenges right there where it's at, is a beautiful feeling. It's a feeling of, what, I didn't even think I could, but then I amazed myself by the energy and the strength and the fortitude that I discovered by overcoming these challenges that I didn't think that I could overcome because they were just weighing down on me like a ton of bricks. But I decided to say, okay, I'm gonna press forward, and even if it's walking through a brick wall, you can do it because you built and you given the skill set in order to overcome. You have to have the belief in your mind, body, and spirit that you can. Eliminate the word can't and won't and couldn't and shouldn't out of your vocabulary, and say, I can, I should, I would, and I will. Those things pour in positivity into your life. And they're saying that I'm going to step forward. I'm not going to stay stagnant, and I'm going to move forward no matter what the challenges is. I'm going to overcome it. I will. I am. I believe. Those things, you are empowering yourself to be able to overcome no matter what the challenge is, no matter what it is that's weighed up against you. You can and will overcome
Mhm. Amen. I mean, I'm just sitting here inspired, you know? I mean, even when you're talking about um the brick wall, you know, and you people be like, you can't get through a brick wall, but if something is behind that brick wall that you need, that you want, that you desire, that'll take you to your next level, you'll figure a way to get through that brick wall. That don't mean you just run up to it and you breaking your body, your shoulder trying to knock it down,
it.
but you realize, okay, you know what? There's a tool at Lowe's, Home Depot, somewhere that I can get, that I can chip away at this brick wall. I don't have to do it in my own strength, but there are tools.
Mhm.
You'll figure out, okay, I gotta call somebody to rent some kind of machinery, but that brick wall can come down. That brick wall can be removed out of your path that's keeping you from where you need to go. And I just, I wanted to say that because a lot of times we think, well, this wall is too big. This wall has been established for so long. How am I going to move a brick wall? I mean, I can't do that. But yes, you can. Like you said, take the cat out. And if you can't figure it out, I'll be like, JT, you ever knocked down a wall before? I need, there's something on the other side of that wall that I have got to get to. Do you know somebody that can knock it down? Can you come help me knock it down? I mean, like JT saying, you got to tap into all the resources you have. Sometimes, it's not just in you immediately, but if that brick wall is stopping you from your destiny, it's keeping you from being free because all the things JT said, that's what freedom looks like when you accomplish something. Freedom looks like, you're able to breathe and be stress free. You're able to say, okay, I got my degree. Okay, I'm 67 years old, but I got my degree. That was one of the things I wanted. I'm 70, but I finally got a new house. I've always wanted a new house. When I was young, I had to sleep with my brothers and sisters. Da, da, da. I got a new house. You know what I'm saying? You're never too old to make your dreams come true. You're never too old to really live free. And I was thinking about, I can't remember the movie. I kept trying to think of the movie, but this guy was in prison and he was locked up. So his physical wasn't freedom, but in his
Mhm.
mind, in his spirit, in his soul, he was free. And so I wish I could think of the name of the movie. I can't think of the actor, nothing. But he was so free. And you would think somebody in prison, how they be free? How
Wow.
they be enjoy waking up every day to what their surroundings are. But you can have that freedom. Freedom is a reality, but we have to do something to get that reality and make it happen and to hold on to it because we see glimpses of it, but we got to hold on to it, right?
Kind of reminds me of the Shawshank Redemption. Your physical presence is not your ultimate finale. Meaning, how you start is not how you're going to finish, but it's all about how your mental is built up. Meaning that I can be surrounded in the weirdest and cruelest environment, but how your mental is built, how your spirit is built, that's going to shine up and above all of that. Didn't Jesus show us what it was to walk on water? Now you had that walk on water feeling because you know physically it has happened, and that too is all about a mindset. We're talking so much about people that commit suicide and people that just get to such a dark place and they can't climb out of that, that cave of immortality. And you think about how we got to stay encouraging each other to talk and vent and stay checking on your people because you never know what somebody is going through. All that goes back to mentality and spirit, and you don't know what your checking and your seeing how somebody is doing, what that means for their particular day or what they're even going through, because a lot of people um treat it like a foreign language to speak out. They look at crying as a weakness. They look at going through something as if, oh, I'm not supposed to be going through this, and they get down on themselves, and they need that pick me up. They need that word of encouragement. There's somebody that's watching this right now that needs what myself and Ali are talking about. Those are the things that are massively important. Whether it's our youth, whether it's our elderly, whether it's a family member, person the same age, a classmate. You never know. Even our pastors, our clergy, our leadership.
Yes,
I
say
stay
that.
praying for everyone. People that's making decisions that affect everyday lives. Old people need prayer too. We all need it. I pray for people that don't like me. I pray for people that do. Because at the end of the day, if the mindset is this right here. You talked about how important forgiveness is in this life. I'm gonna pray for those that may be praying for my downfall as well, because at the end of the day, I can do something that you may not be at the level of doing, but maybe my doing it, for you, there'll be something embedded in your spirit or spark your spirit to do the same. It is about encouraging one another, encouraging your brother, your sister, your fellow man to be a better version of themselves each and every day. And sometimes it may not be the word that you tap their shoulder on your shoulder with, but it's the word that you tap their spirit with. They don't know you praying. They just feel the after effects of your praying. Those things will God, one of some of the things that God armed us with that can be powerful in this life. You just don't know the power and the impact of prayer until you try it. Now, trust me, the first time that you see it, the impact and inspiration of it will be contagious. You'll never want to let go of being able to do that. It is one of the strongest forms of what we are equipped with in this life. I'm telling you, it's not harboring any hate, harboring anything in your spirit that is not of good and not of great, and continuing to infuse that in the atmosphere. For as much wrong and bad and mistreatment that we have in this world, it is what you pray upon our God and our Creator that is going to change the things that are going on in this world. And this, you and understand that you're not the only one. There's somebody out there that's standing in the gap, that's praying a mighty prayer as well. And if we get a few people that's praying them same mighty prayers,
All
we
right.
can change the atmosphere of what's going on in this world and upon the land, because we can't be outweighed by negativity and toxic stuff. We got to infuse and brush that stuff off our shoulders and pray those things away and say the devil will get no victory in this particular day, because my God is mightier than that. And I infuse a prayer and power of prayer among the world and the atmosphere that says, His will shall be done. And despite the evils that lurk the land, they shall not and will not be victorious. Not in this land and not in this day and time, says the Lord.
Whew, hallelujah. I mean, everything you're saying is just like, oh my gosh. I mean, I don't know how many times I'm gonna watch this video. You've been making me go back and watch videos over and over. Because the word is so true. And I mean, people forget that there's somebody that's out there being an advocate for them. Sometimes when I pray, I may not have a specific name, but I pray for people who are going through domestic violence. I pray for single mothers who are struggling and think they can't make it. I pray for people who are looking for jobs, young marriages, different things like that. So, sometimes you don't have to, because somebody might be saying, well, I don't know who to pray for. I don't know who's going through this. You may not need to know a specific name. Say in your community, in your church, in just in the world, whoever's dealing with this situation, Lord, give them a way out. Let them know that you're still working on their behalf. Let them know you still, are able to do it and to fix it and to make it better. And it's sometimes it's a process. Sometimes it happens quickly for some, and I used to kind of get upset about that. I'd be like, well, why? They said they just prayed yesterday and they got their, answer or whatever. I mean, I don't know about God's time, and I don't know why it comes, later for some than it does for others. But all I know is that it comes. Whatever you need will come. And sometimes we pray amiss. We be, asking God for stuff that He be like, okay, you do not need that in your life. And He knows. And so I heard that song Unanswered Prayers. Thank God for Unanswered Prayers years ago. And I was like, oh, that's a cute song. But you keep living.
Mm.
When you hear that song, you be like, thank you, Lord, for unanswered prayers, because I had no idea that I was inviting all of that into my life.
Mm.
And so, sometimes you might be a little disappointed at the moment, but trust me, He know what you need and what you don't need. So, just be encouraged. I mean, I just want everybody to come out of here and be like, I can do this thing called life, and I can do it well.
It's nothing that can't be accomplished. You will deliver from things that are not meant to be in your atmosphere, in your spirit. And a lot of times, there's some things that we may not understand at the moment. That the picture may come clear a little later. You also talk about God's timing.
Man.
Nothing like it. Nothing like God's timing. The beauty of that is the patience that you can and have the opportunity to develop in the midst of God's timing. God didn't say that He wasn't going to do it. He was just going to say that He was doing. It was going to be done in His time and in His way. Those are the things that we have to remember and understand. And sometimes those things come quicker than the next thing. But what we have to remember is preparation is a process, and it is key. And what is being developed and processed and prepared in your life is different from the next individual's life. It's all we all have a plan that God is preparing something for us. It's about the realization of that plan and what it is meant for our particular lives. Let me speak a moment for our families that's tuning in that's in bereavement. Understand bereavement is a process. Understanding it's something that in daily life, some family is going through it each and every day. We hear and making connections, pray strength, love, and faith upon your life, and understanding that grieving has no timetable. It is an individual process. God will give you the tools to cope and deal with. It is not something, and let me just speak from experience. It is not something that you get over. It is something that you are given the tools to cope, given the tools to deal with. And also, what I've realized, you're given the tools to be able to pour into someone else that is walking in the same shoes that you were walked in. You can give encouragement, you can pray, you can speak words of wisdom. It is what I've understood in this life, and I've learned that, we will go through things that other people will go through after us. And people went through things before us so they could pour through and pour something in us in the times that we went through it. It is all a part of that word that we speak upon, freedom. When you free your spirit, you free your mind. You have to look at things like this. In the physical, you miss those loved ones that pass on. But what I can remember, what I can tell you is there's one passage, one scripture that I lean on, and I don't know what chapter it comes out of, but I know it goes like this: to be absent from the body means you're present with the Lord. There's comfort in that. There's comfort. It doesn't mean that the tears are gonna go all the way away, but what it does mean is this comfort in coping that can happen upon your spirit. It can help you get through. And it is like arms wrapped around you. It's giving you the love and the comfort that you need, because God ultimately knows exactly what each of us need. And no matter the situation, no matter what it is, just know that there's someone somewhere that is wrapping hands around you, that is hugging on you, that is loving on you, that is standing there and just holding as tight as they can. Like grandma used to say, I give you, baby, I give you all the love that I possibly can to bestow upon your life, because there's nothing like a praying grandmother. There's nothing like a praying family member that unconditionally and with
Right.
love that is not based on what have you done for me lately, but it's based on the love that was embedded in their soul and their heart. That type of love and those type of spirits is what has gotten us through. We were young and we were journeyed through this life, but there was someone in wise and intent that was praying for our steps, knowing what we were going through, knowing what we were journeying through, and had already walked and laid those steps for us so that we can navigate and walk through those waters. You understand? You talk about freedom. There were some stores that we couldn't even enter in, and there were some stores that we had to wait out back for service. And you think about it now, we able to enter in the front door. We able to sit in the front seats. We're able to go in the front doors of the church. We're able for our kids to go places that maybe we couldn't have went when we were kids. There were doors that were opened by the people that came before us, and that all goes into the reality of freedom. They're no longer the myths of saying what you can't do, where you can't go. There were chains that were broken, long before we were born, in order to open those doors, open those steps, so that we can make history, so we could do things that we didn't even know would be able to do. And those things that I thank God for, because there was somebody that laid life down and sacrificed so that we be able to do that. And that, my friends, is freedom in its realest sense.
Exactly. And just with even with you talking about that, I always tell the young people, I want them to remember, because I know sometimes they're like, what are y'all fighting about? What are y'all marching for? Da, 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 da. I mean, maybe they didn't go through the throes, but you know, I need you to stay in the fight. I need you to stay abreast of what's going on in legislator and stuff, like in legislation and things like that. Just like, let's just say they overturned Roe versus Wade. They overturned it. Just like they overturned that, somebody's fighting to overturn something else that's not in our favor. So we always have to remember that we have to stay in the fight. We always have to remember that we are fighting for the equality of all people. We can never forget that. We want everybody's of all races to be able to go to whatever college they want to go to, and to be able to afford to go to that college, to be able to live where they want to and live in peace. Those things we can't forget. It's still some stuff happening out there, but we have to stand for freedom for all people. because freedom is a reality. But if we don't stand for it, if we don't talk about it, if we don't voice our opinions, if we don't go out and vote, if we don't, look at who's, heading up, who the leaders of the church, who the leaders of the schoolhouses are, we have to know all that stuff. So we can't just say, well, people voting today, I don't know who they're voting, what they're voting about. We have to be in the know because we have to know who we're voting for. What do they believe in? Do they believe in equality and education for all children? You know, so there's freedom and it is a reality, but we got to make sure freedom stays free, right?
Yeah, it can't just be a myth. It's got to be the reality of everything that was just stated and everything that is. You have to remember there was someone that went through something in order for us to be able to have the platform that we're on now. There's someone that paved the way in order for us to have the freedom to be able to speak the words that we speak, to be able to speak our opinions, to be able to breathe the things that we, put in the atmosphere. I understand that. I stay humble on that each and every day. I understand that it ain't always been like this. If I go back 40 or 50 years, the same platforms and the podcasts and the radios that we have, we didn't have those same things. And so I don't take that for granted. I don't take 1 second of what we're doing for granted because we're leaving legacy and we're creating legacy and we're creating memories and we're giving tools to somebody that needs the inspiration and the impact that we are providing here on this platform.
Exactly, exactly. I mean, I just get so excited. I just be like I can do anything. I can, I mean, and that's what we should feel like every day. We shouldn't wake up like, oh my gosh, what am I have to go through today? Who's going to talk about me? Who's going to mistreat me? Don't even worry about those people. Just go forward, focused on where you need to be. Okay, I got to go to the grocery store. So somebody going to cut me off on the street. Somebody is going through something. And so in this path and in this journey, because we are dealing with real people, and maybe they haven't gotten to the level you've gotten to of deliverance, you have to remember what you were like before you was delivered. Hello. I remember me. So that's why
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, she just going through something. She gonna be all right though, because if God brought me through it, he can do it for her. But I have to remind myself, okay, it's something, because people are not just mean by for no reason, it's something that they're dealing with. And JT, like he said, it could be the death of a family member or somebody they see dying that they've been around, it's been in their life for years, and they're sad because they know that day is coming. And they don't know how to portray sadness, so it comes out in anger or, being mean to somebody. But so you don't know what's going on, just be kind anyway, as much as you can, because you might make the difference in that person's life, like JT said.
Yeah, it's all about knowing and understanding that okay, we are human in the flesh and there are things that happen, but also having the humility and the understanding like, you know what, I wasn't the best version of myself and I went through this, I went through that. I might have, said something that might not have been, all the way appropriate or right. And being able to say, you know what, I apologize. If I offended or I crossed it the wrong way, it's on me. And I take full responsibility for that. A lot of times, we don't look at life like that. But we can pray for each other and pray better, but ultimately we got to look ourselves in the mirror and understand that we are doing our best to be the best versions of ourselves that we possibly can be. Because in this life, if you get caught up in all the noisemakers and all the hearsay and what people's opinions of you is, you have to remember this: there ain't but one person that can judge me, and that's the God in heaven. And He's always, holding us in accordance in a different standard. Can't get caught up in what Mary Sue and Jane or Tom, Dick, and Harry think about you because they gonna think differently anyway. But it's not based on the next person's opinion. It's based on the myths that you have to be free within yourself and free within your mind and understand who you are and to understand that no matter what the daggers and the arrows and stuff that can come at you, you got a shield of faith that's going to deter any of those piercings because no longer is it those things matter. And you can't let those things dominate, your life and how you live your life. You gotta be you gotta be self evaluating and
Yeah.
always moving and growing, to be the best version of yourself. That way, you create an atmosphere around you so that whoever it is talking about you, whoever got an opinion of you, well, that is what it is. It's just their opinion. It doesn't define who you are. That's what you got to remember. You define who you are by how you go about your life, how you live this life, how you treat people in this life. Those are the things that define your character. You know, how you are, how you build in this life, and how in your actions. Those things define who you are truly in this life, not what somebody's opinion of you is. That's for sure.
And that is so true. And I mean, even in business, like I say, I think every show that we do can encourage somebody wherever they are, whether you're dealing with a relationship, whether you're in business, whatever that is, that these words can encourage you because I had to talk to a business partner the other day and I was like, you're good at this, but I'm just not good at this. And she was like, okay, so what are you good at? How can we work this so that it works in your favor so that you're not feeling like an imposter or what have you in your delivery or your approach? What makes you, um, how can we work this so it benefits you? Because and I was just honest. I was like, you more outgoing or you're more this and that. But we had to talk about that conversation. I had to be real about where I was, and and then we came up with a solution that works for the business, that works for me because I was being stagnant, and I've been stagnant too many years, and I didn't want to be stagnant anymore. I've got too much stuff to do. I got to come out. And yes, I'm not where I used to be, but I still got some work to do because I still got some people that I need to bless, some people that, I need to help through some situations, and I can't help them if I don't, if I'm down in the mud with them. I mean, we're gonna try to help each other out. I mean, there will be a way. God will make a way of escape, but it would be so much better if I could get out and then help from a different level to pull them up. So, you know, so much, so much. But JT, before we finish, I'm gonna let you come back and tell about some of the other things you got going on because I know you got speak something to Mike this week. I can't remember, but we're gonna take a quick commercial and we're just gonna go ahead and show both commercials at the same time. But this is a lady went to a Be Brilliant movement, and so her foundation, like I said, is Be Brilliant, and she got it from she saw somebody in her office who, we all sometimes have a job, but then there's that side thing that's our passion, right? And so she would see people doing stuff and she's like, you're amazing at this. Oh, I didn't even know you wrote a book. And they're like, yeah, I do this, to pay the bills and everything, but my passion is writing children's books or whatever. And so she was like, she just had this epiphany one day going home. Everybody is brilliant in their own way. Everybody has something that they're really passionate about. And so these are some clips from the retreat I went to. The first one, you'll see Angela at the end talking a little bit. And then the second one is my friend, my new friend. I don't know why I always say it like that, but I like to say it like that. My new friend, Daisy. And so we're going to watch these two clips and then we'll be right back.
Hello. Hi, Conversations with Aly. Aly is here. She's in the house. She landed on Plymouth Meeting. She rocked it out. She told her story. Yay! Be sure to share her videos. Bye.
Thank you, Angela. What's up, everybody?
Hey, girl. Hey.
This is my new friend. Tell them who you are, girl.
Daisy, aka Margarita.
And what do you do, Daisy?
I make empanadas. Delish. Mwah.
Empanadas and margaritas. Let me show y'all this apron right here. Oh, wait a minute. I need to turn. Okay. So I ain't so slick on the camera and stuff. Listen, what's your website?
It's daisiesfood.com.
daisiesfood.com. Y'all got that? Go to that website, order some empanadas, and tell them you got meatless, you got vegan, you got meat.
All kinds of meat.
Listen, go to the website. That's all I can say. All right. So those some lovely ladies, brilliant ladies who were at the retreat, and like I said, the lady in the red shirt who was at the end of the first video, that is Angela Durant. She is the founder of the Be Brilliant movement. She was on the show a couple of weeks ago, and she, we kind of flipped the script. She was like my co-host, and she actually interviewed me. So if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. I think it was July 11th or something like that. And so, just talking about some new things that, making connections and the alley has going on, working on the website. We're just keep on moving forward. Might have would have loved to have had this 3 years ago, but 3 years ago I probably was not in the right mindset. I posted a picture today that when I took that picture a couple of years ago, I was so mad at the photographer. I was like, she said she was gonna Photoshop this and make it look da 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 that I wasn't so big. Today I just posted it because I'm like, that is who I am. But I was praising the Lord at the time, and she caught it, and so I wasn't afraid to post it today because what I said in my post was in my heart, and the way I was positioned was in my spirit that day. So, you grow up, and some things are not as important as it used to be because I got a different mission, I got a different vision, I got some more important things to do that will affect somebody else's life. So, sometimes you got to just remind yourself, hey, we never know. With COVID, I remind myself every day, I never know when my last day is going to be. So I got to do what I need to do today. And if I don't get everything done, that's okay too. But at least I was moving in the right direction. And so I definitely don't want to leave here before JT tells us about some of the great things he's got going on, especially this Wednesday night. What you doing, JT?
Yeah, respect the mic. This Wednesday night at First and Goal will be performing live and co-hosting with some great people. Um, this Wednesday night, 7 to 10, Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm coming. Poet JT returns live to the stage. I'm looking forward to it. It's just a blessing anytime, any opportunities you get. The UNCC network, Tiffany Sunshine. It's just blessed with the opportunity. We'll definitely be in the building for that this Saturday. We got another community cleanup in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Getting together. We're going to clean the neighborhood. We're going to fellowship. We're going to break bread. Looking forward to that. It's just, August 6th, I come back to Rock Hill. I come home to an event, lockdown poetry event at 742 North Anderson Road from 7:30 to 10. So looking forward to that. And just amazing, but thankful to have the opportunities that to have in order to to continue to move what God has, positioned and the doors that He opened. He opens doors that you don't even realize before you walk in. He's already put your name in those doors. So I'm truly blessed. And I tell anybody, don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on your goals. Don't give up on your mission. I promise you, there's a path and there's a destination for each, and everybody can attain those things. You just got to keep your eyes on the prize, truly.
Amen. And even with that retreat, I was like, I'm not going up there. There's a lot of successful women, but it's so amazing. They are successful in their jobs, in their 9 to 5s, but they still have that passion on the outside. One is bringing literacy, like health literacy about seniors, and how we should start looking at the care of our parents before we get there. And so all these things that they're doing, these children's books that are teaching children to love themselves and to, like we're talking about, not take everything to heart, because if somebody's bullying you, they've probably been bullied somewhere along the line. So you got to figure out what it is. It's not that they don't like you, they don't think you're beautiful, whatever. They might really like you. They just intimidated by you. You never know. So it's just really But it was so awesome to see these people who are so already so accomplished, but yet they know that there's a calling on their life to do more, because yeah, we got to do what we do, but we're also called to impact somebody's life, to impart into somebody everything that we've learned and stuff like that. So I could go on for another hour. Me and JT, we're gonna do a 2 hour show one day. We just it don't be enough time. But those flyers were running through, the slideshow, but they will also be on the Facebook page in the Facebook group. So make sure you check out. Like if you don't remember the date or where they're going to be at on Wednesday night, all those will be in the Facebook group. So check them out because, child, I can't keep up with JT. I'll be like, what? You where? What? Now, what day is this? I need my own calendar for his calendar. But that is a blessing. And so, thank you, JT, for always being with us and being so consistent with making connections and, just, telling people about us, inviting guests on the show. We truly are appreciative of, how you have been a backbone for this organization. And you know what? We sticking together because every round does what? Goes higher and higher.
Amen.
So tell everybody how they can follow you.
Definitely. So it's James Sherman Thompson on Facebook. It's underscore JT and Big Woo Radio on IG, and it's at JST Productions on Twitter. Want to definitely say my segment and my part of the show I definitely dedicate to my brother Terrence McCorry. May you rest in peace, my brother, and the family as well. Love and peace upon them.
Absolutely. We are praying for you guys and praying for your strength and for your comfort. And so, thank you again. If you need anything from us, we got you. And so, we make sure you check us out on Facebook, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live. We're also on Instagram. Now, our shows are, going to our YouTube channel, making the connections with Aly. So, we're getting there, we're getting there. And so, just want you to be encouraged. Make sure you go back and listen to this as many times as you need to because it will be on the Facebook page as well. Just so you can live your best life. And then when you get empowered, you empower somebody else, right? So until next time, we're here every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Saturday at 12 noon. But until next time, as always, we're leaving you with love, positivity, and good vibes. Have a great day, everyone. See you, JT. Hope to see you Wednesday.